Shabbat Shalom, guys. We have a lot to cover once again this week, so let's just go ahead and bow our heads and pray, and let's get into it. Yahuah, thank you for gathering us today. To be able to learn like this with one another is truly such a blessing. Guide my viewers and I in your truth, and send your Ruach upon us, and give us eyes to see and ears to hear. We praise and thank your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. He came and brought glory and honor back to your name, Yahuah, and he brought glory back to your ways. And he taught your Torah correctly, and didn't bring your commands to nothing. The word of Yahuah manifested and dwelled among men, and the Word gave his life so that we may keep ours. And we are so grateful for your loving kindness, Yahuah. Hallelujah. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Torah Truth Fellowship of Yahushua. I am your host, Brianna, and this is part 12 of the Isaiah's message for the Remnant series. And I know that I said that this week we would be talking about some of the signs of the times, but I needed a little more time to study on that before I can create a message. So this week we are going to proceed in Isaiah, and I also do apologize for last week for having the last minute cancellation of Shabbat fellowship. Hurricane Ian just decided to, come out of nowhere and hit South Carolina, which is where I live. We were fine. It wasn't that bad. We mostly just got a lot of wind and rain. We never lost power, so it wasn't too bad here. Nothing like what was going on in Florida. Do pray for our brothers and sisters down in Florida, you guys. I mean, they have lost absolutely everything. And one more message I wanted to share with you guys. I'm probably not going to get to that Signs of the Times message just yet. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this Isaiah series. We're going to go ahead and finish that and continue to Isaiah chapter 66 and go ahead and wrap that up. And then I am actually going to be taking a little bit of a sabbatical. I won't be gone for too long, but I'm going to be taking a little bit of a sabbatical. The Most High, I feel, is calling me to just take a break and kind of just deepen my relationship with him and strengthen my walk with him and just take some time away for just a little bit, just a little breather. I won't be gone for too long, guys, I promise. And also, don't forget to check out my Facebook page. Even though I won't be making weekly videos after we wrap up the Isaiah series, I will still be on Facebook, so you can still, keep up with me on there while I'm taking my little break. So let's go ahead and continue. Now, I thought that in this next segment that we would be able to cover chapters 61 and 62 together, but chapter 61 actually ended up being quite an extensive study. So once again, we're only going to be covering one chapter this week, chapter 61. And this chapter will be talking a lot about the seed, the remnant, the children of Abraham. And we are called many things. So let's go ahead and get into it. So, before we start this study, I want to take a moment to reestablish who Israel is. I know this is something that we cover quite often, but we have new brothers and sisters joining us all the time. So, for those of you who are confused about your identity, let's go ahead and establish who Israel is. Starting in Isaiah 41, line 8, it says, "But you, Yasharel, are my servant, Yaakov, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend." So it says, Yasharel, you are my servant, and Yaakov, whom I have chosen. Yasharel and Yaakov are synonymous with each other. And Yasharel is the name that Yahuah gave to Yaakov, Jacob. And it says that you are the seed of Abraham, my friend. Now, let's take a look at what Paul said. Paul explained it a little bit better. In Galatians 3, lines 26 through 29, says, "For ye are all the children of Elohim, by faith in Mashiach Yahushua. For as many of you as been baptized into Mashiach, and have put on Mashiach, there is neither Yahudi nor Yavani, there is neither Jew nor Greek, there is neither bond nor free, there is neither male nor female, for ye are all one in Yahushua HaMashiach. And if you belong to Mashiach, then ye are Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise." Paul says that we are Yahweh's children by faith, by mimicking our Messiah. As you remember, faith is an action. It is your actions, your outwardly example of the Torah. So, by mimicking our Messiah, if you have been baptized by our Messiah and you walk the way he did, then there is neither Jew nor Greek, male nor female, bond nor free. We are all one people in our Messiah. And if we are Messiahs, then we are the seed of Abraham and we are heirs according to what was promised to Abraham, the eternal kingdom, the promised land. And we are included in that promise. Now, moving forward, we are going to be beginning in Isaiah chapter 61, lines 1 through 3. Isaiah 61, lines 1 through 3. The Ruach Adonai Yahuah is upon me, because Yahuah has anointed me to preach the Besorah unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, the recovery of sight to the blind, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuah, and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Sion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, and the garment of praise for the ruach of heaviness, that they might be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of Yahuah, that he might be glorified. All right, line 1. Let's go over that again. It says, the Ruach Adonai Yahuah is upon me, because Yahuah has anointed me to preach the Besorah unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, the recovery of sight to the blind, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. This chapter begins to talk to us about the year of Yahuah's favor, the year that his kingdom comes. Here we see the Ruach is upon Isaiah, telling him to go out and preach the Besorah, the gospel, to the meek and the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, to those that are bound by Satan, and restore the sight of those who couldn't spiritually see the truth before, and to open the prison of those who are bound. This is also prophesying what our Messiah would come and do for us as well. Let's compare this with something that we're going to dive into more in a little bit. Psalms 102, 18 through 20. This shall be written for the generation to come, and the people which shall be created shall praise Yah, for he has looked down from the height of his sanctuary. From heaven did Yahuah behold the earth, to hear the groaning of the prisoner, to loose those that are appointed to death. This here is written for a generation to come. So this was not written for the generation that was alive at the time that this was written, but for a future generation, a generation that will praise Yah. And when this happens, Yahuah will look down and see his people being afflicted and those appointed to death, and some of which will be repentant and they will find mercy, and some won't. All right, let's read line 2. All right, Isaiah 61:2. To proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuah and the day of vengeance of our Elohim, to comfort all that mourn. So this line 2, and line 9 are going to be the longest pieces of scripture that we have to go over in this video. There is so much to unpack, and I think you guys are going to love what we are about to unpack right here. This is going to be good. So this verse that we just read is the very verse that Yahushua HaMashiach began his ministry with. The day Yahushua started ministering to the people, he began by reading this verse. But he didn't read all of it. He stopped right in the middle of it, and we'll get to why in just a minute. So let's go ahead and read where our Messiah begins his ministry work. In Luke 4, lines 14 through 21, and Yahushua returned to the power of the Ruach in Galilee, and there went out a fame of him through all the region round about. And he taught in their synagogues, being glorified of all. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. And, as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Shabbat, and stood up for to read. And there was delivered unto him the sefer of the prophet Yeshayahu, Isaiah. And when he had opened the sefer, he found the place where it was written, The Ruach Adonai Yahuah is upon me, because he has anointed me to preach the Besorah to the poor, and he sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set liberty at them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of Yahuah. And he closed the sefer, and he gave it again to the minister, and sat down. And the eyes of all of them that were in the synagogues were fastened on him. And he began to say unto them, This day is this scripture fulfilled in your ears. So, first I want to point out how it says that he went to Nazareth, and as it was his custom, he went to the synagogue on the Shabbat. The Nazarites observed the seventh day of the week as the Shabbat, which most people refer to as Saturday. And once again, I want you to disregard the pagan origins with the name Saturday and ask yourself, what came first? Yahuah's sanctified seventh day of the week, or man's perverse spin on the name of the day? And then he goes on to read Isaiah 61:2. But if you notice that he cuts off in the middle of the verse, and he didn't read the part about the vengeance to come and the comfort for those who mourn, he stopped and he said that this scripture has been fulfilled in your ears. Yahushua came to preach the good news of redemption and healing and restoration of spiritual sight, to proclaim the acceptable year of Yahuah. The kingdom is at hand. He stopped mid-sentence because it wasn't time to proclaim Yahuah's vengeance yet. He started his ministry by fulfilling the first part of those two verses. Now let's go back a couple of chapters and read Isaiah 58:6. Says, Is this not the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the opposed go free, and that ye break every yoke? And what is the fast here, brothers and sisters? Yes. Oh, excuse me, guys. Yes, we are commanded to physically fast, but we are also commanded to spiritually fast, to starve our bodies from sin. Fasting from sin is what we should be doing. And this is also speaking about physical fasting as well. You know, if we read the verses in context, we can see in this chapter, it is speaking about fasting in vain for your own personal gain, you know, to be like, look what I did. Check me out. I fasted for 3 days. I haven't eaten a single thing. Look at me. That's what this is talking about. It's talking about fasting in vain. And let's read the account where where Yahushua freed a woman from an evil spirit, an evil ruach on the Shabbat. Luke 13, lines 6-7. He spoke also this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came and sought fruit thereon, and found none. Then he said unto the dresser of his vineyard, Behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit on this fig tree, and find none. Cut it down. Why cumbers it the ground? And he answering said unto him, My Adonai, let it alone this year also, till I shall dig about it and dung it. And if it bear fruit, well. And if not, then after that you shall cut it down. And he was teaching in one of the synagogues on the Shabbat. And behold, there was a woman which had a ruach of infirmity of 18 years, and was bowed together, and could in no wise lift herself up. And when Yahushua saw her, he called her to him, and he said unto her, Woman, you are loosed from your infirmity. And he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was made straight, and glorified Elohim. And the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation, because that Yahushua had healed on the Shabbat, and said unto the people, There are 6 days in which men ought work. In them therefore come and be healed, and not on the Shabbat. Adonai then answered him and said, You hypocrite, do not each one of you on the Shabbat loose his ox or his ass from the stall, and lead him away to watering? And ought not this woman, being a daughter of Abraham, whom Satan has bound, lo, these 18 years, be loosed from this bond on the Shabbat? And when he had said all these things, all his adversaries were ashamed, and all the people rejoiced for all the glorious things that were done by him. So, It begins by Yahushua speaking about the parable of the fig tree. And he says that there was a man who planted a fig tree in his vineyard, and when he came to seek fruit, he found none. So he said to his vine dresser, he's like, I've come here for 3 years now seeking fruit, and I found none. This thing is not bearing any fruit. Let's just cut it down. He's like, why are we keeping this tree if it's no good? Let's just cut it down. To which the vine dresser replied, let me dig around it and manure it, and if it bears fruit, that's great. And if not, go ahead and cut it down. And then Yahushua sees a woman who is all bound up. Like, think of like a hunchback. Like, she's like bent over, cannot stand up straight. And she is bound by a demon, and she has been this way for 18 years. So Yahushua calls her over to him, and he says that you are loosed from your infirmity. And he lays his hands on her, and she was healed. And this really angered the elders and the Pharisees. They did not like Yahushua doing this, and they told him that we are not to heal on the Shabbat. They said there's 6 days to be healed. Come and be healed then. And that is when Yahushua called them hypocrites and said, do you not take your asses and your cattle to get water on the Shabbat? Or do you just let them go thirsty because it's the Shabbat? Should this woman, a daughter of Abraham, who has been afflicted for 18 years, not be loosed of her bonds on the Shabbat? And after this, they were ashamed. And brothers and sisters, let us remember this next scripture if we are going to be teachers, to remember that our brothers and sisters are all at different stages in their walks, to remember to be patient, understanding the truth takes time, and to remember that at one point you were where they are. Most of us all started at the same place, a place of disobedience and rebellion. So let us remember 2 Timothy chapter 2, lines 24 through 26. And the servant of Yahuah must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient, in meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves, if Elohim perchance will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. And another one for us to remember as well, when the scoffers and the mockers come along and they try to make you feel small, or when they try to project their self-righteousness onto you, remember these words from John. 1 John 3, lines 7 through 8. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that does righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that commits sin is of the devil, for the devil sins from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of Elohim was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. So, for the purpose of these evil works, for the purpose of the sons of Satan, the Son of Elohim was made manifest, Yahushua HaMashiach, the Anointed One, who came to take away the sins of the world, that the people may have the choice, not the right, the choice of everlasting life. Because you have to obey to get there. You don't get there by being disobedient. You have a choice. Okay, yeah. I'm not a fan that they use the word right, because everlasting life is only a right for those who are obedient. It is not a right for the disobedient. It is your choice what realm you want to end up in forever, brothers and sisters, everlasting life or everlasting torment and death. Now let's get a better look at what I'm saying here. We're going to read most of Psalms chapter 107. Psalms chapter 107, lines 1 through 21 says, Oh, give thanks unto Yahuah, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. Let the redeemed of Yahuah say so, whom he has redeemed from the hand of the enemy, and gathered them out of the lands, from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south. They wandered in the wilderness in a solitary way. They found no city to dwell in. Hungry and thirsty, their soul fainted in them. They cried unto El Yahuah in their trouble, and he delivered them out of their distresses. And he led them forth by the right way, that they might go to a city of habitation. Oh, that men would praise Yahuah for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. For he satisfies the longing soul and fills the hungry soul with goodness. Such as sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, being bound in affliction and iron, because they rebelled against the words of El, and contemned the counsel of El Elyon. Therefore he brought down their heart with labor. They fell down, and there was none to help. They cried out unto El Yahuah in their trouble, and he saved them out of their distresses. He brought them out of the darkness and out of the shadow of death, and he broke their bands in sunder. Oh, that men would praise Yahuah for his goodness and for his wonderful works, to the children of men. For he has broken the gates of brass and cut the bars of iron in sunder. Fools because of their transgression, and because of their iniquities are afflicted. Their soul abhors all manner of meat, and they draw near unto the gates of death. And then they cry unto El Yahuah in their trouble, and he saves them out of their distresses. He sent his word, and healed them, and delivered them from their destructions. Oh, that men would praise Yahuah for his goodness, and for his wonderful works to the children of men. Let the redeemed of Yahuah proclaim his goodness, those that are redeemed from among men. Remember that phrase in your head. Just remember that phrase, that those redeemed from among men. Remember that. Those he has gathered from the north and the south and the east and the west from the enemy. They wandered in the wilderness with nowhere to dwell, hungry and thirsty. And they cried unto Yahuah, and he delivered them, and he led them forth by the right way, and he gave them a city that they can dwell in, and he will satisfy their hungry and thirsty souls. And he brought them out of darkness and out of the shadow of death, and he broke their bands. They are fools because of their transgressions and iniquities, and that is why they are afflicted. They cry unto El Yahuah, and he answers them in their distress. And he sent his word. And what is his word? His Torah. And he healed them by his word, by his son, Yahusha, who was the word made flesh. He delivered them from their destructions, so that men would praise Yahuah in his goodness. And the next thing we're going to read is Messiah's response to John the Baptist apostles. So John the Baptist is still in prison, and they're like, what's going on? And so they ask Yahusha, they're like, are you the one that is to come, or are we waiting for another? To which Messiah replies with this. Matthew 11, lines 4 through 5. Yahusha answered and said unto them, Go and show Yehuchanan, which is John, Yehuchanan, again those things which ye do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, and the lame walk, and the lepers are cleansed, and the deaf hear, and the dead are raised up, and the poor have the Besorah preached to them. Now, before we move forward, I want to go over the definition of the word gospel, or good news. And the Greek word for gospel or good news is Strong's 2098 Euangelion. Yeah, Euangelion. Okay, Euangelion. All right, that's all. That's hard to say. I'm sorry, guys. That was really hard to say. And it means the good news of the coming Messiah, the gospel. The generation after it, so it says it means the good news of the coming of the Messiah, the gospel. The generation after it expresses sometimes the giver, which is Yah, and sometimes the subject, which is the Messiah, Yahusha, and sometimes the human transmitter and apostle. The gospel includes the entire Bible. I copy and pasted this right out of Strong's lexicon, so this is not me saying this. This is Strong's lexicon. This is straight out of the Strong's dictionary. The gospel includes the entire Bible, and it is not limited to how a person becomes a Christian. It includes the entire Bible. The entire Bible is the good news. From Genesis to Revelation is the good news. You cannot understand one half without understanding the other half. Moving on to Isaiah 29, lines 18 through 19. And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the Sefer, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek shall also increase their joy in Yahuah, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Yasharel. This is talking about the great and fearful day of Yahuah. The spiritually deaf, those whose ears have been closed, and those who have blatantly not listened, shall hear the words that I am speaking to you guys every week. And those whose eyes and ears have been shut, they shall see and hear the truth. And the meek and the humble in Ruach shall rejoice in Yahuah and in Yahushua HaMashiach. In Psalms 119, line 18, open my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of your Torah. And also, Proverbs 20, line 12. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, Yahuah has made even both of them. And this isn't just talking about your physical eyes and ears. Of course, Yahuah made all of us. He made your eyes and ears. But this is talking about our spiritual eyes and ears, our eyes and ears that allow us to read and understand the Most High's testimony to mankind. It is your spiritual eyes and ears that are opened, and you understand the word of Yah in a way that you never did before. He did that. He opened your eyes and ears. You didn't gain this wisdom from your own doing. He did that. He allowed you to understand. Like I always tell you guys, I am nobody. I am merely just a messenger of the Most High, and I only speak on the things that He gives me a conviction to speak on. And I only speak on things that I can prove using His word alone. Isaiah 35, lines 3 through 10. Strengthen ye the weak hands, and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your Elohim will come with vengeance, even Elohim with a recompense. He will come and save you. The eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. And then shall the lame man leap as a deer, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out, and streams in the desert. And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. And the habitation of dragons, where each lay, shall be grass with reeds and rushes. And a highway shall be there, and a way, and it shall be called the way of holiness. The unclean shall not pass over it, but it shall be for those, the wayfaring men. Though fools shall not err therein. No lion shall be there, nor any ravenous beast shall go upon thereon. It shall not be found there, but the redeemed shall walk there, and the ransomed of Yahuah shall return, and come to Sion with songs and everlasting joy upon their heads, and they shall obtain joy and gladness, and sorrow and sighing shall flee away. So, is this not almost the exact same thing that we read in Psalms chapter 107? It is like almost the exact same thing. Really quickly, I want to move back to the part of line 2 that says the day of vengeance of our Elohim, and to comfort all that mourn. So let's talk about that day of vengeance really quickly. Uh-oh. Hold on, guys. I just accidentally exited out of my message. Oops. Where was I? Okay, here we are. Starting with Isaiah 49:8. Thus says Yahuah, in an acceptable time have I heard you, and in the day of Yeshua salvation have I helped you, and I'll preserve you, and give you for a covenant of the people, to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages. In an acceptable time, the acceptable year of Yahuah, He has heard His people, and in the day of Yeshua, the day of salvation, He will preserve us, and He will renew His covenant with us, and establish a new earth, and allow His people to inhabit the once desolate places. Jeremiah 46:10. For this is the day of Adonai Yahuah Sabaoth, a day of vengeance, that He may avenge him of his adversaries, and the sword shall devour, and it shall be satiate and made drunk with their blood. For Adonai Yahuah Sabaoth has a sacrifice in the north country by the river Parath. So this is the start of that day of Yahuah, the start of the 1,000-year reign, and it starts with the regathering. Yahuah gathering all His people and the New Jerusalem coming down from heaven, and then comes vengeance. Zephaniah 3, line 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, says Yahuah, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. And for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Wait on Yahuah. Be patient and of good courage. Wait for the day that Yahuah rises up to the prey, the day that he assembles the nations for war and indignation, to be devoured with fire. Isaiah 63:4. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. The day of Yahuah is the day that is weighing on Yahuah's heart, the day that is weighing on Yahusha's heart, to come back and gather his brothers and sisters. All right, finally, moving on to line 3. Isaiah 61, line 3, finally. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the ruach of heaviness, that they might be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of Yahuah, that he may be glorified. So let's start with something that we went over quite a few times last week. Psalms 1, lines 1 through 3. Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the Torah of Yahuah, and in his Torah he meditates day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he does shall prosper. Let's look at another account that tells us those who seek the counsel of Yahuah are blessed, and also being compared to trees as well. We are compared to trees quite a lot, and I think we've talked about that before in one of these videos of the series. Jeremiah 17, 5 through 8. Thus says Yahuah, cursed be the man that trusts in man. You hear that? Cursed be the man that trusts in another man, and makes flesh his arm, and whose heart departs from Yahuah. For he shall be like the juniper in the desert, and shall not see when good comes, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not be inhabited. Blessed is the man that trusts in Yahuah, and whose hope in whose hope is Yahuah is. For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreads out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat comes, but her leaf shall be green, and shall not be careful in the year of the drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. The man who trusts in Yahuah is as a tree planted by waters, never ceasing to yield its fruit. The next account is one with Yahusha. Mark 8, lines 22 through 25. And he came to Beit Said, and they brought a blind man unto him, and besought him to touch him. And he took the blind man by the hand, and led him out of the town. And when he had spit on his eyes, and put his hands upon him, he asked him if he saw aught. And he looked up, and he said, I see men as trees, walking. And after that he put his hands upon his eyes, and made him look up, and he was restored, and he saw every man clearly. So, this is interesting here. So they brought this blind man to Yahusha, and Yahusha takes the blind man out of town, and he lays his hands on him, and Yahusha asks the man, he's like, can you see? And the blind man looks up, and he's like, I see men as trees, walking. They're walking around. And where was I? And Yahusha, he gave him spiritual sight, like full on spiritual sight. Like we're talking like the sight given to like Enoch and Daniel and John, like full spiritual sight. Okay. And Yahusha's like, oops. And he lays his hands on the man again and restores his actual sight. But I personally think that Yahusha purposely did this, thus showing the man who he was, who he said he was, and the people who were watching as well. And Messiah, he also likened us to plants. Let's read the parable of the seed, and then we will move forward. We have read this parable before as well. Matthew 13, 3 through 23. And he spoke many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. And some fell upon the stony places, where they had not much earth. And forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who has ears to hear, let him hear. And the Talmudim came and said unto him, Why speak you unto them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, he's talking to his disciples right now, because it is given to you, my disciples, to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. But to them, the people, it is not given. For whosoever has, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever has not, from him shall be taken away, even that he has. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Yeshayahu, Isaiah, which says, By hearing ye shall hear, and ye shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should turn back, and I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and for your ears, for they hear. For amen, I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom, and understands it not, then comes the wicked one, and catches away that which was sown in his heart. This is which he received. This is he which received the seed by the wayside. But he that received the seed into the stony places, the same is he that hears the word, and immediately with joy receives it. Yet he has no root in himself, but endures for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, by and by he is offended. He also that received the seed among the thorns is he that hears the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful. But he that received the seed into good ground is he that hears the word and understands it, which also bears fruit, and brings forth some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. All right, we are moving on to lines 4 through 6 now. Isaiah 61, lines 4 through 6. And they shall build the old wastes, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, and the desolations of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers. But ye shall be named the priests of Yahuah. Men shall call you the ministers of our Elohim. Ye shall eat the riches of the other nations, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. So line 4, there's a few things to unpack here, but nothing crazy. So let's read that again. And they shall build the old wastes, they shall rise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations. This will all happen on the account of the righteous. Let's read Micah 7:13. Notwithstanding the land shall be desolate because of them that dwell therein, for the fruit of their doings. Now this is speaking about the wicked. The land will be desolate because of them, because of those who dwell over in that land now, in Jerusalem now, in all of the lands over there now that are named in the promised land. The promised land is not just limited to the country of Israel. It is a whole 1,500 mile by 1,500 mile square radius. Where was I? They are the children of the Pharisees. The regathering has not happened yet. That doesn't happen until the very end of things. And well, what about the 1948 establishing of Israel? All the Jews are there now. But the people dwelling in that land now are not his people. Well, not all of them. I say that, but some of them are. There are some of them that are his people, so not all of them. But the people that don't acknowledge Yahusha as our Messiah, those are not his people. All right, Joel 2, lines 1 through 3 says, "Blow ye the shofar in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, and let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahuah comes, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There has never been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devours before them, and behind them a flame burns. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them is a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them." So it says, "Blow the shofar and sound the alarm in Zion." This is the last trumpet. The day of Yahuah is nigh at hand. A great people who are strong, like there has never been before, and like there shall never be afterwards. A fire devours before them and behind them. And Yahuah is that fire, and Yahusha. One will go before us, and one will be behind us. Just like when Moses led the Hebrews out of Israel. Moses, it was in the front, he was leading his people, and remember, they had a pillar of cloud, pillar of light at the back, and that was Yahuah guarding them from Pharaoh. It says that the land before them is as the Garden of Eden, and behind them is a desolate wilderness. And is the land as the Garden of Eden yet? No. All right. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, line 3. "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Now let's go to the book of Ezekiel as well. Ezekiel 36, 34 through 36. "And the desolate land shall be tilled, whereas it lay desolate in the sight of all those that pass by. And they shall say, This land that was desolate is become like the Garden of Eden, and the waste and desolate and ruined cities are become fenced and are inhabited. Then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahuah, built the ruined places, and plant that was desolate. I, Yahuah, have spoken it, and I will do it." So to get a better understanding of this, let's read the beginning of this chapter as well. Ezekiel 36, lines 1 through 5. It says, "Also, son of Adam, prophesy unto the mountains of Yasharel, and say, Ye mountains of Yasharel, hear the word of Yahuah. Thus says Adonai Yahuah, because the enemy has said against you, Aha! Even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore, prophesy and say, Thus says Adonai Yahuah, because they have made you desolate, and swallowed you up on every side, that ye might be a possession unto the remnant of the heathen, and that ye are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are in infamy of the people. Therefore, ye mountains of Yasharel, hear the word of Adonai Yahuah. Thus says Adonai Yahuah to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, and to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which become a prey and derision to the remnant of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus says Adonai Yahuah, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the remnant of the heathen, and against all of Edom, which have appointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with despiteful minds, to cast it out for a prey." So we see here all these terrible things happen on account of them, the wicked. They have caused the land to become desolate. The children of Edom, which is the children of Esau. The enemy has said against us, Aha! Even the ancient high places are ours. And this is basically the enemy's entire plan here in 5 verses. This is exactly what happened with Israel becoming part of the UN in 1948. They joined forces with the enemy, who made them think that they're a friend. And look what's going on in Israel right now. It's a nightmare over there at the moment. Where'd I go? All right, line 5. Isaiah 61:5. "And the strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers." So it says, "But before the wicked depart to torment, they will come and they will see, and they will be glorified of all Yahweh's, and they will see Yahweh's people be glorified, and they will offer supplications." Let's read Revelation 3, line 9. "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yahudim, which say they are Jews, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them come and worship before your feet, to know that I have loved you." So those who say that they are of the house of Judah, but are not, those who are liars, and the truth is not in him, Yahushua will make you part of the synagogue of Satan, and you will come and worship before the righteous feet of Yahuah's people, and know that Yahuah has loved them. Line 6. Isaiah 61:6. But ye shall be named priests of Yahuah. Men shall call you the ministers of our Elohim. Ye shall eat the riches of other nations, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. So, in that day they shall become priests, and eat the riches of the other nations, the ones that boast and fell on account of the wicked. All right, Revelation 1, line 6 says, And he has made us kings and priests unto Elohim his Father, and to him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. So Yahushua did that. Yahushua is the one who makes us priests unto his Father, and to him be glory and dominion forever. All right, moving on to lines 7 through 9. And this is where it's going to start getting long again, guys. All right. Isaiah 61, lines 7 through 9. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I, Yahuah, love judgment. I hate robbery for a sending smoke offering. And I will direct their work in truth. And I will cut an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the other nations, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, and that they are the seed of Yahuah, and that they are the seed which Yahuah has blessed. All right, line 7. So there's a couple things to unpack here as well. It says, For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portions. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. So I want to begin here with 2nd Esdras, also known as the 4th book of Ezra. 2 Esdras 16, lines 48 through 52. The more will I be angry with them for their sins, says Yahuah. Like as a whore envies a right honest and virtuous woman, so shall righteousness hate iniquity. When she decks herself, and shall accuse her to her face. When he comes, that shall defend him. When he comes, that shall defend him, that diligently searches out every sin upon earth. And therefore be ye not like thereunto, nor to the works thereof. For yet a little, and iniquity shall be taken away out of the earth, and righteousness shall reign among you. Let me read that again, because I feel like I stumbled all through that. Says, the more will I be angry with them for their sins, says Yahuah. Like as a whore envies a right honest and virtuous woman, so shall righteousness hate iniquity, when she decks herself, and shall accuse her to her face. When he comes, that shall defend him that diligently searches out every sin upon earth. And therefore be ye not like thereunto, nor to the works thereof. For yet a little, and iniquity shall be taken out of the earth, and righteousness shall reign among you. Yahuah will be very wroth with the wicked, like a whore who envies a righteous and honest woman. Righteousness will hate iniquity, and vice versa. Iniquity will hate righteousness as well. To love Yah is to love righteousness, brothers and sisters. And to love Yah is to hate the things that he hates: pride, envy, lust, hatred, deceit, theft, adultery, which is not just cheating on your spouse, brothers and sisters. There is spiritual adultery as well. Physical and spiritual adultery. He hates both. The list goes on. Idolatry. If for a little while this goes on, and then iniquity shall be removed from the earth. Come out of Babylon, my brothers and sisters. Revelation 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And this has been the call since the prophets, brothers and sisters. Nothing is new under the sun. It has always been the call to come out of Babylon, repent, and turn back to Yahuah. Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babel, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahuah's vengeance, and he will render unto her a recompense. Is this not the same thing proclaimed in Revelation? Flee out of the midst of Babel, and don't be cut off in her iniquity. Do not be partakers of her sins. In the time of Yahuah's vengeance, he will render her a recompense, and she will receive plagues. You don't want to be a part of that, guys. Isaiah 52, lines 10 through 12. Yahuah has made bare his holy arm, and in the eyes of all the nations and all the ends of the earth shall see the Yeshua of our Elohim. Depart ye, go ye out from thence. Touch no unclean thing, go ye out from the midst of her. Be ye clean, that bear the vessels of Yahuah. For ye shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight. For Yahuah will go before you, and the Elohai of Yasharel will be your rearward. Your rearward, not your reward, your rearward. He will go before you, and he will go behind you, just like we just read a minute ago. Where was I? Okay. And we see the same thing being said here in 2nd Esdras. 2nd Esdras 2, lines 24 through 28. Abide still, O my people, and take your rest, for your quietness still come. Nourish your children, O good nurse, establish their feet. As for the servants whom I have given you, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among your number. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness comes, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but you shall be merry and have abundance, and the heathen shall envy you, and they shall be able to do nothing against you, says Yahuah. In the meantime, this is what we should be doing while we are waiting, brothers and sisters, strengthening ourselves with Yahuah and strengthening our children. Moving on to line 8, Isaiah 61:8. For I, Yahuah, love judgment. I hate robbery for a sending smoke offering, and I will direct their work in truth, and I will cut an everlasting covenant with them. Yah loves judgment, and he says he will direct our work in truth. He will direct our works in accordance to his Torah through his Ruach, the Ruach HaKodesh. Now let's read about that covenant that he is going to cut with us. Let's start talking about that. Ezekiel 20, lines 33 through 38. As I live, says Adonai Yahuah, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you, and I will bring you out from the people. I will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Mitzrayim. So will I plead with you, says Adonai Yahuah, and I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out from you among the and I will purge out from among And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. And I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yasharel, and ye shall know that I am Yahuah. On that day, he will gather his people from out amongst the heathen, and he will bring them into the wilderness, the highway of holies, and that we read about earlier, the second Exodus journey. And he will plead with his people, just as he pled with our forefathers who came out of Egypt, to hearken to his word, but they wouldn't. They murmured against Yahuah and against Moses and Aaron. They had no trust. In that same day is the day that people will say to Yahusha, Adonai, Adonai, in your name didn't we perform many great works, and in your name we cast out demons. And what does he say to them? He says, depart from me. I never knew you, you workers of iniquity, you sinners, as iniquity means sin. But really quickly, let's read the parable of the wise and foolish virgins. Matthew 25, lines 1 through 13. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom comes. Go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they were ready, and And they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward, the other virgins also, saying, Adonai, Adonai, open to us. But he answered and said, Amen, I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor hour wherein the Son of Adam comes. So, you see, those who had oil in their lamps, those who had the word, they were ready when their master came, and they were allowed into the church. But those who didn't have oil, those who didn't have the word, they had to go buy it, and when they came back, they were too late, and they were not allowed in. The master said, I don't know you, depart. Which is why we must be ready now, brothers and sisters, right now, before Messiah returns. The foolish virgins asked the wise to get some of their oil, but the wise virgins told the foolish, no, go and buy your own. And why is that? I'll tell you why, using the word. Proverbs 23:23. Buy the truth, like buy, I give you money and buy the truth, and sell it not. Also, wisdom and instruction and understanding. We don't sell the truth, brothers and sisters. Salvation and wisdom and understanding is a free gift upon a repentant heart. 1 John 2, lines 3 through 4. And hereby we do know that we know him, if we guard his commandments. He that says, I know him, and guards not his commandments, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. And Hosea 2, lines 14 through 19. Therefore, behold, I will allure her, and bring her into the wilderness, and speak comfortably to her, and I will give her her vineyards from thence, and a valley of Achor for a door of hope. And she shall sing there, as in the day of her youth, as in the day that she came up out of the land of Mizraim. And it shall be at that day, says Yahuah, that you shall call me Ishi, and shall no more call me Baali. For I will take away the names of Baalim out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I cut a covenant with them, with the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground, and I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and I will make them to lie down safely, and I will betroth you unto me forever. Yea, I will betroth you unto me in righteousness, and in judgment, and in loving kindness, and in mercies. The land will be as it was in the days when Israel came out of Egypt, and he will give us vineyards, and we will call Yahuah Ishi, which means husband. And in that day we will no more call him Baalim, or Lord, and he will betroth himself to his people forever. Jeremiah 31:18 through 34. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus, you have chastised me. I was chastised as a bullock, unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn me, and I shall be turned, for you are Yahuah Elohai. Surely after that I was turned. I repented, and after that I was instructed. I smote upon my thigh. I was ashamed, yea, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spoke against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my heart is troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, says Yahuah. Set you up waymarks. Make you high heaps. Set your heart toward the highway, even the way which you went. Turn again, O Virgin of Yasharel. Turn again to these your cities. How long will you go about, O you backsliding daughter? For Yahuah has created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. Thus says Yahuah Sevoth, the Elohai of Yasharel. As yet they shall use this speech in the land of Yehudah, and in the cities thereof, when I shall bring again their captivity. Yahuah blesses you, O habitation of justice and mountain of holiness, and there shall dwell in Yehudah itself, and in all the cities thereof together husbandmen, and they that go forth with flocks. For I have satiated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul. Upon this I awoke and beheld, and my sleep was sweet unto me. Behold, the days come, says Yahuah, that I will sow the house of Yasharel and the house of Yehudah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. And it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them, to pluck up, and to break down, and to throw down, and to destroy, and to afflict, so will I watch over them, to build and to plant, says Yahuah. And in those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on the edge. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eats the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, says Yahuah, that I will cut a renewed covenant with the house of Yasharel and with the house of Yehudah, not according to the covenant that I cut with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim, which my covenant they broke, although I was a husband unto them, says Yahuah. But this shall be the covenant that I will cut with the house of Yasharel after those days, says Yahuah. I will put my Torah in their inward parts, and I will write it in their hearts, and will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahuah, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, says Yahuah. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Alright, on to line 9, and we have quite a bit to unpack here, so this might take a minute to go over, so just bear with me here, and actually, give me just a moment. I need to go get a refill on my drink, so give me just a moment, guys. Okay, line 9, Isaiah 61:9. And their seed shall be known among the other nations, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahuah has blessed. So their seed shall be known among the other nations. The seed of the righteous shall be known among the heathen. And all shall acknowledge them, and that they are the seed that Yahuah has chosen, the seed of Abraham. And first, we're going to start by reading all of Psalms chapter 22, which prophesies our Messiah's crucifixion, and actually what he quoted as he was dying up on the stake, how he truly felt as he was knocking on the doors of death. I want you to remember that while I'm reading this. This is how our Messiah felt as he was up on the stake, dying. All right, Psalms 22. Eli, Eli, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me and from the words of my roaring? O Elohai, I cry in the daytime, but you hear not, and in the night season, and am not silent. But you are holy, O you that inhabit the praises of Yasharel. Our fathers trusted in you. They trusted, and you did deliver them. They cried unto you and were delivered. They trusted in you and were not confounded. But I am a worm and no man, a reproach of men, and despised of the people. All they that see me laugh me to scorn. They shoot out the lip, they shake the head, saying, He trusted on El Yahuah, that he would deliver him. Let him deliver him, seeing he delighted in him. But you are he that took me out of the womb. You did make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. I was cast upon you from the womb. You are my El from my mother's belly. Be not far from me. For trouble is near, for there is none to help. Many bulls have compassed me. Strong bulls of Bashan have beset me round. They gaped upon me with their mouths, as a ravening and roaring lion. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint, and my heart is like wax, and it is melted in the midst of my belly. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue cleaves to my jaws, and you have brought me into the dust of death. For dogs have compassed me, the assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. I may tell all my bones, they look and stare upon me. They part my garments among them, and cast lots upon my vesture, but are not far from me. O Adonai, O my strength, haste you to help me. Deliver my soul from the sword, my darling from the power of the dog. Save me from the lion's mouth, for you have heard me from the horns of the unicorns. I will declare your name unto my brethren. In the midst of the assembly will I praise you. Ye that fear Yahuah, praise him. All the seed of Yaakov, glorify him and fear him. All ye the seed of Yasharel. For he has not despised nor abhorred the affliction of the afflicted, neither has he hid his face from him. But when he cried unto him, he heard. My praise shall be of you in the great assembly. I will pay my vows before them that fear him. The meek shall eat and be satisfied, and they shall praise Yahuah that seek him. Your heart shall live forever, and all the ends of the world shall remember and turn unto El Yahuah. For all the kindreds of the nations shall worship before you. For all the kingdom is Yahuah's, and he is the governor among the nations. And all they that be fat upon the earth shall eat and worship, and all they that go down to the dust shall bow before him. And none can keep alive his own soul. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to Adonai for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, that he has done this. So, if we read the crucifixion account in the book of Matthew, it almost mimics this word for word. Quoting Psalms chapter 22 was the final sign that Yahushua used to prove who he was, which is why his followers said after he died, truly the Son of Elohim was among us, because they understood what he was quoting and why he was quoting it. The others, they were ignorant to the matter. They thought that he was crying out for the prophet Eli. They were like, oh, he cries out for the prophet Eli. Let's see if Eli comes and saves him. But that's not what he was talking about. He was actually crying out to his father. Romans 8:29. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predetermine to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. And John 17:6. I've manifested your name unto the men which you gave me out of the world, and yours they were, and you gave them me, and they have guarded your word. Yahushua manifested in the Father's name. Yahushua literally means Yah saves, or Yah is salvation. The two root words of his name, Yahu, which is the shortened name of Yahuah, and Yasha, which means save, salvation, deliverance, etc. Yahushua manifested, and he gathered together the people that his father called his, and they became Yahushua's people too. And they have guarded the Father's word, his Torah. And the righteous, they will get to ascend to the hill of Yahuah. All right, Psalms 24, 3-6. Who shall ascend to the hill of Yahuah? Or who shall stand in his holy place? He that has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul unto vanity, nor sworn deceitfully. He shall receive the blessing from Yahuah, and righteousness from the Elohim of his Yeshua. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek your face, O Yaakov. Selah. Only those who have clean hands and a pure heart shall ascend and dwell on the hill of Yahuah. He who hasn't exalted himself or sworn deceitfully, those are who shall be blessed by Yahuah. Receive the blessing of righteousness from the Elohim of your Yeshua, of your salvation. This is the generation that diligently seeks Yahuah with all their heart, mind, and soul. And how do we know this, brothers and sisters? Well, James has a really good way of explaining it. James 4, lines 8-17. Draw nigh to Elohim, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. You double-minded people, you who say one thing but do another. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of Yahuah, and he shall lift you up. Speak not evil one another, brethren. He that speaks evil of his brother and judges his brother speaks evil of the Torah and judges the Torah. But if you judge the Torah, then you are not a doer of the Torah, but a judge. There is one Torah giver, and who is able to save and to destroy? Who are you that judge another? Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year, and buy and sell and get gain. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes away. For that ye ought say, if Yah will, we shall live, and do this or that. But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. Therefore to him that knows to do good, and does it not, to him it is sin. So here it is to do good to one another, and to meditate on that. My dear brothers and sisters, if your soul feels weary or troubled, or if you aren't sure where to begin with repentance, remember this next scripture that I am going to read. This is a cry for mercy and a cry for the Most High. We are going to read all of Psalms chapter 102. No, I lied. Not all of it, but most of it. It says, Hear my prayer, O Yahuah, and let my cry come unto you. Hide not your face from me in the day when I am in trouble, and incline your ear unto me in the day when I call, and answer me speedily. For my days are consumed like smoke, and my bones are burned as a hearth. My heart is smitten and withered like grass, so that I forgot to eat my bread. By reason of the voice of my groaning, my bones cleave to my skin. I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. I watch and am as a sparrow alone upon the housetop. My enemies reproach me all the day, and they that are mad against me have sworn against me. For I have eaten ashes like bread, and mingled my drink with weeping, because of your indignation and your wrath, for you have lifted me up and cast me down. My days are like a shadow that declines, and I am withered like grass. But you, O Yahuah, shall endure forever, and your mention unto all generations. You shall arise and have mercy upon Sion, for the time of her favor, yea, the set time is come. For your servants take pleasure in her stones, and favor the dust thereof. So the heathen shall fear the name of Yahuah, and the kings of the earth your glory. When Yahuah shall bind up Sion, he shall appear in his glory. He will regard the prayer of the destitute, and not despise their prayer. This shall be written for the generation to come, and the people which shall be created shall praise Yah. For he has looked down from the height of his sanctuary. From heaven did Yah behold the earth, to hear the groaning of the prisoner, to loose those that are appointed to death, to declare the name of Yahuah in Sion, and his praise in Jerusalem. And when the people are gathered together, and the kingdoms to serve Yahuah, he weakened my strength in the way, and he shortened my days. I said, O my El, take me not away in the midst of my days. Your years are throughout all generations. Of old have you laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They shall perish, but you shall endure. Yea, all of them shall wax old like a garment. As a vesture shall you change them, and they shall be changed. But you are the same, and your years shall have no end. And the children of your servants shall continue, and their seed shall be established before you. All right, now I want to go back for a second and talk about line 20. We briefly spoke on line 20 when we went over lines 1 and 2 of chapter 61. So let's take a look at line 20 of Psalms, and let's make a comparison really quick. So Psalms 102:20 says to hear the groaning of the prisoner and to loose those that are appointed to death. Now let's compare this to Hebrews 9:27 through 28. And as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this is judgment. So Mashiach was once offered to bear the sins of many, and unto them that look for him shall he appear the second time without sin unto Yeshua. So it is appointed to all men to die once, right? We all live, we all die. But after death comes judgment. Do you enter into the receptacle of rest, the bosom of Abraham, or do you end up in darkness and torment? Remember, a few weeks ago we read in 2 Esdras about what happens to us when we die. We either enter into rest, or we are shown what we could have had if we were obedient, and then you depart to torment. And then we are going to get another look at that by reading all of Jeremiah chapter 30. So, Jeremiah 30. The word that came to Yirmiyahu from Yahuah, Jeremiah, saying, Thus speaks Yahuah Elohai of Yasharal. Write you all the words that I have spoken unto you in a sefer. For lo, the days come, says Yahuah, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Yasharal and Yehudah, says Yahuah, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. And these are the words that Yahuah spoke concerning El Yasharal, and concerning El Yehudah. For thus says Yahuah, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask ye now, and see whether a man travails with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Yaakov's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahuah Sabaoth, that I will break his yoke from off of your neck, and will burst your bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him, but they shall serve Yahuah Elohim, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore, fear you not, O my servant Yaakov, says Yahuah, neither be dismayed, O Yasharel, for lo, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Yaakov shall return, and shall be in rest and in quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with you, says Yahuah, to save you. Though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered you, yet I will not make a full end of you, but I will correct you in measure, and will not leave you altogether unpunished. For thus says Yahuah, your bruise is incurable, and your wound is grievous. There is none to plead your cause, that you may be bound up. You have no healing medicines. All your lovers have forgotten you. They seek you not, for I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy, and with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of your iniquity, because your sins were increased. Why cry you for your affliction? Your sorrow is incurable for the multitude of your iniquity, because your sins were increased. I have done these things unto you. Therefore, all they that devour you shall be devoured, and all your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil you shall be a spoil, and all they that prey upon you I will give for a prey. For I will restore health unto you, and I will heal you of your wounds, says Yahuah, because they called you an outcast, saying, This is Sion, whom no man seeks after. Thus says Yahuah, Behold, I will bring again the captivity of Yaakov's tents, and have mercy upon his dwelling places, and the city shall be built upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof, and out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry, and I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their assembly shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them, and their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them, and I will cause them to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engaged his heart to approach unto me, says Yahuah? Ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahuah goes forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahuah shall not return until he have done it, until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider it. So, in that day, the day of Yahuah, he will return us to the land that he promised to our fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yahuah will correct us, but we will not go altogether unpunished, which is why affliction still happens to us. We are still punished for our transgressions. My punishment, personally, has come in the form of my health. I have had some discs in my back that sometimes can leave me bedridden for weeks. It has also caused permanent nerve damage in my leg, which still bothers me from time to time. It really only bothers me if my back bothers me. But, I mean, we do not go altogether unpunished. We are still punished for the things that we did. Yahuah is the one who wounds and chastises us for our iniquities. But because we have repented, Yahuah will give our adversaries to us for a spoil, and those who prey on us, they will become the prey. And Yahuah will restore our health, and he will heal our wounds, and we will go into Sion, and we will dwell with him. And we will be established before Yahuah. And Yahuah will proceed into the midst of us and cause us to draw near unto him. Where was I? And we will be his people, and he will be our Elohim. Yahuah will go forth upon the wicked like a whirlwind with fury, and it shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. And Yahuah will not return until that day that is weighing on his heart, the day all the intents of his heart are done. And in the latter days, we will begin considering this like we are right now. And we read this last week as well about the church of Philadelphia. Revelation 3, lines 7 through 13. And the angel of the called out assembly in Philadelphia write, These things says that he is holy, he that is holy, he that is true, he that has the key of David, He that opens and no man shuts, and shuts and no man opens, I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, and no man can shut it. For you have a little strength, and have guarded my word, and have not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yahudim, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Because you have guarded the word of my patience, I will also guard you from the hour of calamity, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which you have, that no man take your crown. Him that overcomes will I make a pillar in the temple of my Elohim, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him in the name of Elohim, and the name of the city of my Elohim, which is renewed Jerusalem, which comes down out of heaven from my Elohim, and I will write upon him my new name. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Ruach says unto the called out assemblies. And who escapes tribulation again? Who is delivered? Let's read that. Remember what we talked about earlier. Hold on. Hold on. What did I say to remember earlier? Crap. Let me find it really quick because it was important.
There's a strange culture of wordlessness wherein I am supposed to suss what one is feeling by these like raise of an eyebrow or beginnings of a frown.
Hold on, guys. I'm going to find it.
What's going on with you? A lot has changed since you left. Just a lot. Oh, come on. Name one thing that has changed in this hospital. The clinic is actually making money. The chief's wife left him. Derek and Meredith broke up, and whoa. Derek and Meredith broke up? Like I said, a lot of things have changed. Nikki Jones, 25-year-old female, 35 weeks pregnant.
Oh crap, where is it? Hold on, guys. Oh no. I gotta find it. That was important.
The baby's heart is currently growing on the outside of his body.
Which doesn't give anything bizarre to mention something like that.
Not bizarre, baby. Just unique. Our son is one of a kind. Wearing his heart on his sleeve.
This surgery is going to take place in 2 long hours. It will work like a dance.
Dr. Crum will begin with the delivery, and I'll stay behind to close your incision while I bring your baby to one too. Where I'll work on your baby's heart, and I'll attend to your baby's intestinal problem.
Intestinal problem.
We detected there might be a slight defect on your baby's diaphragm. We just want to be prepared for it.
Well, eventually, I'm going to find this. Hold on, guys.
Accepted no matter what. By us. By our love. Something about that guy makes me just want to punch him out.
And yet you didn't, for which I am grateful. But Hippie's annoying, huh? Go away.
Hey, how great is she?
She's great, did I tell you? You told me. Did she tell you? Tell me what? Anything. Everything. Does she know you're divorced? You're divorced? Yeah. Which, as it turns out, is the best thing that can happen, really.
Okay, anyways. Let's just get back to where we were.
So it seems like there's been a lot of change even since the last checkup. His behavior's been getting more erratic. It's a nice way of putting it. Well, you've been incredibly strong, Jennifer. This is...
Anyways, Revelation 7, lines 4 through 17. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and they were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Yasharal. Of the tribe of Yehudah were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Shimon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Yishakar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zuvulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Yosef were sealed 12,000, and of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000. And after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, saying, Yeshua, to our Elohim, which sits upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about to the throne, and about the elders and the 4 living creatures, and fell before the throne on their faces, and worshipped Elohim, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be unto our Elohim forever and ever. Amen. And when one of the elders answered, saying unto me, What are these which are arrayed in white robes, and whence came they? And I said unto them, Sir, you know. And he said unto me, These are they which came out of the great tribulation, and have washed their robes, and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. Therefore, before the throne of Elohim, therefore are they before the throne of Elohim, and serve him day and night in his temple. And he that sits on the throne shall dwell among them, and they shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sunlight on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters, and Elohim shall wipe away the tears from their eyes. And now I want to turn to Psalms chapter 27. And it looks like we're going to read most of that. Yahuah is my light and my Yeshua. Whom shall I fear? Yahuah is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war shall rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of Yahuah, that I will seek after, that I may dwell in the house of Yahuah all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of Yahuah, and to inquire in his temple. For in the day of his evil he shall hide me in his sukkah, actually. In the secret of his tabernacle he shall hide me, and he shall set me up upon a rock. And now shall my head be lifted above my enemies and round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto Yahuah. Hear, O Yahuah, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me, and answer me. When you said, Seek ye my face, my heart said unto you, Your face, Yahuah, will I seek. Hide not your face far from me. Put not your servant away in anger. And you have been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O Elohai of my Yeshua. And when my father and mother forsake me, then Yahuah will take me up. Teach me your way, O Yahuah. Lead me in a plain path, because of my enemies. Deliver me not over to the will of my enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. I had fainted, unless I had believed to see the goodness of Yahuah in the land of the living. Wait on El Yahuah. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on El Yahuah. The bottom line is this, brothers and sisters. Wait. We are also going to be hated by everyone. Like, the closer we get to the end of things, the more and more we are going to be hated by people. Be of good courage, strengthen your heart, and wait on Yahuah. 1 Corinthians 15, lines 51 through 53. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the shofar shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall all be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. And then we see something similar said in 1 Thessalonians 4, lines 16 through 18. For Yah himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of the archangel, and with the shofar of Elohim, and the dead in Mashiach shall raise first. Then we, which are alive and remain, shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet Yah in the air. And so shall we ever be with Yahuah. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. We get a really good picture of this in 2 Esdras 2, lines 33 through 47. I, Ezra, received a charge of Yahuah upon Mount Oreb, that I should go unto Yasharal. But when I came unto them, they set me at naught, and despised the commandment of Yahuah. Therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of this world. Be ready to the reward of the kingdom. For the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Flee the shadow of this world. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. O receive the gift that is given to you, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that has led you to the heavenly kingdom. Arise up and stand. Behold the number of those that be sealed in the feast of Yahuah, which are departed from the shadow of the world, and have received the glorious garments of Yahuah. Take your number, O Sion, and shut up those of yours that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the Torah of Yahuah. The number of your children in whom you longed for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of Yahuah, that your people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed. I, Ezra, saw upon Mount Sion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised Yahuah with songs. In the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns. It was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel, and said, Sir, what are these? And he answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of Elohim. Now they are crowned, and received palms. Then I said unto the angel, What is the young person? What young person is it that crowns them, and gives them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of Elohim, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood there so stiffly for the name of Yahuah. And once again, I want to reiterate, brothers and sisters, that if we are going to be teachers, we must remember this little piece of scripture. 2 Timothy 2, lines 24 through 26. The servant of Yahuah must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient, in meekness, instructing those that oppose themselves, if Elohim perchance will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth, and that they may recover themselves out of the snare of the devil, who are taken captive by him at his will. And now I want to talk about trusting in Yahuah, trusting in him to deliver on his promises, trusting him to guide us and protect us. So let's go ahead and read Psalms chapter 40. Whew, we got a long way to go, guys. It's going to be a long one today, whenever you're watching this, if you catch it on Friday evenings or Saturday mornings, I'm not sure. Okay, Psalms 40. I waited patiently for Yahuah, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of a horrible pit, out of the miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and established my goings. And he has put a new song in my mouth, even praise unto our Elohim. Many shall see it and fear, and shall trust in Yahuah. Blessed is the man that makes Yahuah his trust, and respects not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Many, O Yahuah Elohai, are your wonderful works which you have done, and your thoughts which are to usward. That is so weirdly worded. I guess which are toward us. They cannot be reckoned up in order unto you. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but a body you had prepared me. Ascending smoke offering and sin offering have you not required. Then said I, Lo, I come, in the rolls of the Sefer it is written of me, I delight to do your will, O Elohai. Yea, your Torah is written within my heart. I have preached righteousness in the great assembly. Lo, I have not refrained my lips, O Yahuah. You know. I have not hid your righteousness within my heart. I have declared your faithfulness and your salvation. I have not concealed your loving kindness and your truth from the great assembly. Withhold not your tender mercies from me, O Yahuah. Let your loving kindness and your truth continually preserve me. For innumerable evils have encompassed me. My iniquities have taken hold upon me, so that I am not able to look up. They are more than the hairs of my head, and therefore my heart fails me. Be pleased, O Yahuah, to deliver me. O Yahuah, make haste to help me. Let them be ashamed and confounded together that seek after my soul to destroy it. Let them be driven backward and put to shame that wish me evil. Let them be desolate for a reward of their shame, that they say unto me, Aha, aha. Let all those that seek you rejoice and be glad in you. And let such as love your Yeshua say continually, Yahuah be magnified. But I am poor and needy, yet Adonai thinks upon me. You are my help and my deliverer. Make no tarrying, O Elohai. Give me just a moment. When we cry out for Yahuah, He will hear us and He will save us out of our affliction. He will heal us and redeem us and turn us into righteous beings. Be of good courage, strengthen your heart, and wait on Yahuah patiently. And most importantly, strengthen yourselves, brothers and sisters. This world is going to get a whole lot worse before all this ends, and we must be prepared for whatever tribulation we must endure in the meantime, while we wait for our Yeshua, our salvation. Now let's read Enoch 50, lines 1 through 4. In those days, the Kodashim and the chosen shall undergo a change. The light of day shall rest upon them, and the splendor and glory of the Kodashim shall be changed. In the day of trouble, evil shall be heaped upon the sinners, but the righteous shall triumph in the name of Yahuah Sabaoth. Others shall be made to see that they must repent and forsake the works of their hands, that glory awaits them not in the presence of Yahuah Sabaoth, yet that by his name they may be saved. Yahuah Sabaoth will have compassion on them, for great is his mercy, and righteousness is in his judgment, and in the presence of his glory, nor in his judgment shall iniquity stand. He who repents not before him shall perish. Henceforward I will not have mercy on them, says Yahuah Sabaoth. The Kodashim will undergo a change, the set apart, the day that we put off the immortal and put on the immortal. In the splendor and glory shall we be changed. But trouble will be heaped upon the sinners, and the righteous they will triumph in Yahweh's name, and others shall be made to see that they must repent. That is the final chance to repent that we talked about last week. These are the people that will be least in the kingdom, and they will not be glorified like the Kodashim are. But by the name of Yahuah Sabaoth they will be saved nonetheless. And in his presence and in his judgment iniquity shall not stand. He who does not repent in that moment shall perish. And Yahuah will no longer have mercy. Isaiah 52:10. Yahuah has made bare his holy arm, and the eyes of all the nations and of all the ends of the earth shall see the Yeshua of our Elohim. I believe we talked about this one last week too. Yahuah made his holy arm bare for all the nations to see. He made his son, Yahushua HaMashiach, and his elect people known to the earth, for everyone to see the salvation of that our Elohim brings to us. And now we're going to read one of my favorite verses in the book of Jubilees, and also a couple verses before it. But we're going to move a little backwards here. Well, first we're going to read Jubilees 23:26. And in those days the children shall begin to study the Torah and seek the commandments and return to the path of righteousness. In those days, and this part of Jubilees is specifically referring to the end times generation. And what does it say that they'll be doing in those days? Jubilees 23, line 16. And in that generation the sons shall convict their fathers and their elders of sin and unrighteousness, and of the words of their mouth, and of the great wickedness which they perpetrate, and concerning their forsaking the covenant which Yahuah made between them and him, that they should observe and do all his commandments and his ordinances and all his Torah, without departing either to the right hand or the left. And why did all of this happen in the first place? Well, let's take a look at Deuteronomy Chapter 30. We haven't talked about this one in a while. Where this was spoken of for the first time. When it happened, what happens if you guard Yahweh's word, and what happens if you transgress it? Deuteronomy chapter 30. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon you, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before you, and you shall call them to mind among all the nations whither Yahuah Elohika has driven you, and shall return unto Yahuah Elohika, and shall obey his voice according to all that I command you this day, you and your children, with all of your heart and with all your soul, that then Yahuah Elohika will turn your captivity and have compassion upon you, and will return and gather you from all the nations whither Yahuah Elohika has scattered you. If any of yours be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahuah Elohika gather you, and from thence will he fetch you, and Yahuah Elohika will bring you into the land which your fathers possessed, and you shall possess it, and he will do you good, and multiply you above your fathers. And Yahuah Elohika will circumcise your heart, and the heart of your seed, to love Yahuah Elohika with all your heart and with all your soul, that you may live. And Yahuah Elohika will put all these curses upon your enemies, and on them that hate you, which persecuted you. And you shall return and obey the voice of Yahuah, and do all his commandments which I command you this day. And Yahuah Elohika will make you plenteous in every work of your hand, in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your land, for good. For Yahuah will again rejoice over you for good, as he rejoiced over your fathers, if you shall hearken to the voice of Yahuah Elohika, to guard his commandments and his statutes, which are written in the Sefer of the Torah, and if you turn unto El Yahuah Elohika with all your heart and with all your soul. For this commandment which I command you this day, it is not hidden from you, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that you should say, Who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. Neither is it beyond the sea, that you should say, Who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it and do it. But the word is very nigh unto you, in your mouth and in your heart, that you may do it. See, I have set before you this day life and good, death and evil. And in that I command you this day to love Yahuah Elohika, to walk in his ways, and to guard his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that you may live and multiply. And Yahuah Elohika shall bless you in the land whither you go to possess it. But if your heart turn away, so that you will not hear, but you shall be drawn away, and worship other Elohim, and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither you pass over the Yarden to go possess it. I call the heavens and the earth this day to record against you that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your seed may live, that you may love Yahuah Elohika, and that you may obey his voice, and that you may cleave unto him. For he is your life and the length of your days, that you may dwell in the land which Yahuah swore unto your fathers, to Abraham, Yitzhak, and to Yaakov, to give them. And now, before we move forward to the last two lines, I want to read to y'all the parable of the fig tree and a couple of the lines after it. So Matthew 24, lines 32 through 24. Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and puts forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Amen, I say unto you, this nation shall not pass till all these things be fulfilled. Now I want you to remember that part where it says the branch is tender and puts forth leaves. And what do we read about those who obey the Torah and meditate on the word day and night? That they will be like a tree planted by the waters. Where'd I go? Never ceasing to put forth fruit. So, excuse me. I got the hiccups. Okay, I think I'm good. All right. I'm sorry about that, guys. So, when you see the children returning to the Torah, then know that his coming is near, even at the doors. Now let's read a couple lines after this too, and it gives us a good idea of what those days are going to be like. Matthew 24, lines 36 through 39. But of that day and hour knows no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Adam be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and knew not that the flood came, and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Adam be. It is going to take everybody by surprise. Everyone who isn't watching and waiting and prepared for this day to come, it's going to take them by surprise. And I got like a whole new perspective on this piece of scripture not too long ago. Like, it really, like, people are mindless, to say the least. Like they said, people are eating and drinking and going on about their lives and giving in marriage and marrying people, and the people are literally just going on about their lives like everything is normal, not a care in the world. And then boom, Yahuah comes back, and a lot of people are going to be taken by surprise, like a thief in the night. It is only coming like a thief in the night for those who are not expecting it. All right. Finally, we are on to the last two lines 10 and 11. And yeah, this isn't too long. We don't have too much to go over here, guys. So let's go ahead and do it. Isaiah 61, lines 10 through 11. I will greatly rejoice in Yahuah. My soul shall be joyful in my Elohim, for he has clothed me with the garments of salvation. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decks himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorns herself with jewels. For as the earth brings forth her bud, and as the garden causes the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so Adonai Yahuah will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations. So let's read line 10 again. I will greatly rejoice in Yahuah. My soul shall be joyful in my Elohim, for he has clothed me with the garments of salvation. He has covered me with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decks himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorns herself with jewels. Let's talk a little bit about these garments. We hear about these garments quite a few times. Revelation 19, 7 through 8. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his woman has made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the Kodashim. And we can also compare this with line 3 of this chapter that we're studying, Isaiah 61, line 3. To appoint unto them that mourn in Sion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, oil for the joy of mourning, and the garment of praise for the ruach of heaviness, that they might be called oaks of righteousness, the planting of Yahuah, that he might be glorified. And now let's read Ezekiel 16, lines 8 through 16. Now when I passed by you and looked upon you, behold, your time was the time of love. And I spread my skirt over you and covered your nakedness. Yea, I swore unto you and entered into a covenant with you, says Adonai Yahuah, and you became mine. Then I washed you with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away your blood from you, and I anointed you with oil. And I clothed you also with broidered work, and shod you with antelope skin, and I girded you about with fine linen, and I covered you with silk, and I decked you also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon your hands, and a chain on your neck. And I put a jewel on your forehead, and earrings in your ears, and a beautiful crown upon your head. Thus were you decked with gold and silver, and your raiment was of fine linen, and silk, and broidered work. And you did eat fine flour, and honey, and oil, and you were exceeding beautiful. And you were prospered into a kingdom, and your renown went forth among the heathen for your beauty. For it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon you, says Adonai Yahuah. But you trusted in your own beauty, and played the harlot because of your renown, and poured out your fornication on everyone that passed by. His it was, and of your garments you did take, and decked your high places with diverse colors, and played the harlot thereupon. And like things shall not come, neither shall it be so. And how do we do this, brothers and sisters? How do we attain this eternal life? Well, Philippians 3, line 9. And be found in him, not having my own righteousness, which is of the law, but that which is through faith in Mashiach, the righteousness which is of Elohim by faith. Be found in him, not having your own righteousness, meaning you yourself are not trying to be righteous. It is not of your own doing, but because of your mimicking of Messiah and guarding the Torah, you obtain the righteousness of Elohim, which is by faith. Your actions, your demonstration by your actions of the Ruach HaKodesh operating within you, letting the Spirit guide you and work within you and not resisting it, being obedient and guarding the Torah and praying for all of these things as well. All right, now line 11, Isaiah 61:11. For as the earth brings forth her bud, and as the garden causes the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so Adonai Yahuah will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all nations. So let's read something we went over a few weeks back. Isaiah 58:11. And Yahuah shall guide you continually, and satisfy your soul in drought, and make fat your bones, and you shall be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water, whose waters fail not. Yah will guide you, brothers and sisters. He will never forsake any one of his faithful servants. He will water our bones, and we shall become like living waters, the living word, if you will, the day that we put off the mortal and put on the immortal. Isaiah 45:8, drop down, ye heavens from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth Yeshua, salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, Yahuah, have created it. This is the descending of New Jerusalem. Drop down, ye heavens, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open up and bring forth the salvation. Let righteousness spring up together. And Yahuah has created this. Yahuah does all of these things. Yahuah allows people to stay confused or blind or deaf. He creates certain people to be used as examples. Those who refuse to hearken are going to be made an example of. And Yahuah does all of these things. And on that great and fearful day, the entire earth is going to know that it was him that did all this. And then the book of Psalms, it talks about this a lot too, referring to us as plants. Psalms 72, line 16, there shall be a handful of grain in the earth upon the top of the mountains, and the fruit thereof shall shake like Lebanon, and they of the city shall flourish like the grass of the earth. So there shall be a handful of grain upon the tops of the mountains. Remember, brothers and sisters, many are called, yet few are chosen. Though the children of Israel used to be as the sand of the sea, only a remnant remain. Yahuah will delight in the few rare and precious stones that he has, rather than what is plenty and common. And lastly, Psalms 85:11, truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. Truth shall spring out of the earth, my brothers and sisters. The prophets, Yahusha, the apostles, and now us, we are the last key to the puzzle to proclaim the truth throughout the entire earth one last time before our Messiah returns. And righteousness shall look down from heaven. Yahuah is watching, waiting for all of his remnant to return, very patiently, I might add, and we are in the beginning of the loosing of the plagues, and the heat is really fixing to get turned up a lot really soon, brothers and sisters. Satan knows that time is short, and he is hard at work these days. Pray for Yahuah to guard you from his attacks, and strengthen your hearts, brothers and sisters, unless your heart fail you in what is to come in these latter days. Be of good courage and wait patiently for the Elohim of our Yeshua, our salvation. All right. That concludes this week's message portion. Next week, we're going to be back with Isaiah again. Like I said at the beginning of this message, we're going to just go ahead and wrap up this Isaiah series. And then as we get closer to that, we'll talk a little bit more about my little brief sabbatical that I'm going to be taking. And when I come back, we'll definitely be talking about some signs of the times. But let's go ahead and let's close this up with a prayer, you guys. Let's go ahead and bow our heads. Yahuah, thank you for allowing us to study your word, and to be able to go through your truth and compare it with other truth is just such a blessing, Yah. And we are so grateful that you allow us to be able to do this and to be able to share your knowledge. And we thank your son too, Yahushua HaMashiach, the Torah made flesh, and he magnified your Torah, Yahuah, the purest sacrifice that redeemed us one last time. To him we are forever grateful, and we praise your name, Yahuah Sevaoth. Hallelujah. We love you. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen. All right, brothers and sisters, if you're sticking with me for the Torah portion, I will see you there as we go ahead and conclude Genesis this week. If not, I'll see you again next week. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat, and Shalom.